Hey everyone, I'm Allie, and today we're doing some relaxing yin yoga for stress relief. So grab a cushion or a yoga block if you have either of those handy, and we'll start in a comfortable seated position. So as you come into a comfortable seat, you could be seated on your cushion or block if that is a nicer way to sit for you. We want to find a tall spine here, so ground your sitting bones down wherever they are. We'll elongate the spine, let your shoulders wrap back and down. Lift the top of the ears up slightly and just draw them back just a touch. And as we ground and soften in for the practice, we'll start to just observe the breath. Your eyes can be closed or looking down at the floor ahead of you. Noticing the inhale and the exhale as you arrive into this space, allowing any distractions around you to dissolve for this short practice. You can keep breathing naturally, or we'll manipulate the breath a bit by extending the inhales and the exhales. So we'll breathe in, counting down from 5, and then we'll breathe out, counting down from 6. Let's just start with a regular old inhale. Breathe in, a big breath out the mouth, and then breathing in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Exhale out the mouth for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do 2 more rounds. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Out the mouth for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time. Breathing in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. And exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Take a deep breath in. Open your mouth, exhale. Let's let the shoulders roll up, back, and down a couple of times. And then go the other way. Back up and forward and down. And we'll come into a wide knee child's pose. So pressing through to hands and knees. You can keep that cushion or block down underneath your chest if you'd like. We'll bring the knees wide to the edges of your mat. Big toes together, soften your hips back. And lower all the way down. So if you do want to use a cushion, what you could do is bring one cheek to the mat and slide your hands under the cushion. Otherwise, without it, you can bring your forehead flat down onto the floor or your block. Just melting into the shape. As time passes in these quieter, longer holds, just notice where your mind goes. You want to release tension in the body, but also some of that clutter in the mind from your day. So one way to do that is just to come back to focus on your breath. Taking a big breath out the mouth whenever you need to release a little bit more of that clutter in the mind. And then notice the tension in the body as well. Soften the belly. See if there's anywhere in the face that's tense, or the fingers or toes, if they're gripping, try to release that. If you have one cheek down, just go ahead and switch sides. All right, slowly taking your time to come back up to hands and knees. Feel that sweet release in the hips. You can stretch one leg back at a time, tucking the toes under. And once you've done that a couple of times, we'll be moving into swan or deer pose. So cushion or block, again, can stay toward the top of your mat. And this is how we'll move into this one today. So the knees are going to walk up so they land behind your right wrist. Shift your shins so they go on a diagonal on your mat, and then step your left leg behind you. So if you're familiar with pigeon pose, this is like a passive version of pigeon pose. We call it swan in yin, all of the birds. And you can definitely use those props however they support you best. So this can be an intense one in the outer hip. If you are more open in that space, you can scooch the front toes closer to the top of your mat. And if you're not so much more open there, you can bring the front toes closer towards you, or you can move it into deer pose by bending your back knee out to the side. So it comes more toward a 90-degree angle. And whenever you're ready, just start to soften forward into the shape. Find a place where you can support your forehead with something, maybe stacking the hands or fists underneath it. And just breathe. Notice if there's anywhere in the body that you can ease into the shape a little bit more, softening through the hips, and the legs, and the heart. And we'll slowly start to rise back out of that shape. Again, coming back to hands and knees so you can press into your hands. Shift your front knee back, feeling that rebound in the outer hip. Maybe again, stretching one leg back at a time. We'll move it right into the other side. So your knees walk up to land behind your left wrist. Point all 10 toes toward the right edge of your mat and slide your right leg behind you. You remember, we're asymmetrical beings, so basically meaning that one side will probably not feel or look the same as the other side. So just start to explore what works for you. Set yourself up on this side however it feels right. Discomfort is good in yin, but we don't want any pain, so make sure that there's no throbbing or tightness in your joints, especially your knees. You can always do thread the needle laying on your back if you'd prefer a more gentle outer hip stretch. But once you arrive, let's drop into it and relax. Check in with your breath. Make sure it's still there. If the thoughts are getting noisy, take a deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, let it go. And this time to come out of the shape, press into your hands, lift your chest, lean back into your hips, swing your back leg around. So both legs are in front of you. And we'll go ahead and lay right down onto your back. Grab your prop, slide it off to the side of your mat. All right, let's take a quick Shavasana here to really feel the rebound from the last couple of shapes, and that echo effect in the hips. Then moving into a spinal twist. So bend your knees, feet on the mat, shift your hips to the right, let your knees fall to the left. I like to make this one extra cozy and supportive by sliding the cushion between my legs. You might try that out if you like. Eyes can turn over to the right to stretch all the way up through the neck. Really allow the whole front of the body to soften here. Let's bring it back through center. Couple of breaths in the middle, shifting your hips back to center. Let's get into the other side. Hips to the left, knees fall to your right. Maybe sliding that prop between your legs. You get really heavy here in your left shoulder. Make sure the head is supported on the floor. And bring a sense of weightedness, heaviness to the whole body that meets your mat or the floor here, sinking down deeply. And bring it back to center. Slide your prop off to the side, out of the way. And let's hug the knees and thighs to your belly. Take a rock side to side, left to right, or maybe roll in some circles with the hips, one direction and then the other. Staying with your breath, we will shift it right into your final shape, Shavasana. If you have a cushion or pillow that's big enough to slide underneath your knees, that can make it a little extra relaxing. Take up as much space as you'd like. Taking a moment to drop into this final shape, wrap your shoulder blades underneath you. Sink your hips down. Feel the opening across the soles of the feet and the inner thighs. Relax through the belly. Feel the openness across the chest. Soften your brow and jaw. Nothing left to do here but simply breathe. Of course, I encourage you to stay here as long as it serves you today. If you're ready to finish the practice, back where we started in a seated position, bring life back into your fingers and toes. Take any stretch that feels good in your body and gently roll through one side, and I'll meet you in a seat. Uh-oh. I want to thank you for having the courage to show up and find peace within. I'll see you next time. Namaste.